It is a little bit after 6. If y'all would stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alderman Miller, would you do our invocation for us?
Heavenly Father, once again, Lord, we thank you for this day. And now, Lord, we go into this budget here and we pray, Heavenly Father, what we're doing tonight, that you'll be pleased and satisfied as we look out the welfare of this citizen, Heavenly Father, if we be good stewards of their money. We just thank you right now. Thank you, Lord, for the opportunity to serve. Continue, Lord, to bless in a mighty way. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Can I have a motion to approve the agenda of this recessed meeting?
Motion to approve.
Are we going to talk about the dog?
They had to put it
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Just to talk about it.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. That motion passes. Okay, so we have recessed until tonight to discuss the fiscal year 24 budget that we will hopefully be adopting on September 5th. The department heads and Pam and everybody included have worked really hard nights and weekends sometimes to get this put together. They're never perfect, but we think we have got a balanced budget we're presenting to you. The department heads some of the department heads asked for some large number of items that are not in this budget. But I will say none of the things they asked for were things that weren't needed. It's just things we couldn't fit in here and balance the budget. So we have made quite a few cuts to get to where we are. And what I'd like to do, instead of us just being boring about it and running line by line and wasting everybody's time, I know every one of you have looked at it because I've had questions from some of you about what things mean. So I just kind of want to hear from y'all things you have concerns about. If you've seen things in there that you're concerned about, and we have the department heads here, Pam and I are here to do the best we can to answer and hopefully have a robust discussion about the budget so we'll know how to move forward.
I think I'll go on and lead it off, man, and I'm going to be very brevity tonight, Alderman Wicker.
Why are you looking at me for?
You, man, we be tagging out, man.
I got you. Okay, tagging out.
Bruce, he keeping scorecards.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about? All right, Bruce, that's okay. Hey, get your hit in now. All right, but as I shared with the mayor earlier, and we already had a lot of discussion about the budget earlier, so I won't talk about that no more because some of my concerns already been taken care of. And I say again that I want to commend the mayor and the department heads on this budget that they presented to us. Might not agree with everything, but I want to commend you for the budget that you did present. With that being said, I have two concerns, and one concern is that I would like to see us get to $1 million in contingency. Y'all did a good job. We had 900,000 right now, if I'm not mistaken, based upon the present numbers. And we have some more monies that on into this budget that we probably gonna have to be paying out in about PERS. And I know employees don't consider that a raise, but in reality, it's a benefit. And that's 1.2, 1.7%, 1.8, or whatever it is, depending on who you talk with. So with that being said, I would like to see the raises be 4% across the board versus 5%, and with that money not going to other items, but going through contingency. I don't have any problem with the additional raises that the mayor and the department head single out certain people with because of their responsibility and their duty that they feel that those are warranted and underpaid. I don't have a problem with that. But I would really like to see us go, I would like to see the across the board reduced to 4% across the board. And then the other thing, and this is a question for Public Works and Police Department. 2 years ago, we talked about putting in the lift and everything and saving money between the Public Works and the Police Department by doing our service of our vehicles up there. We're talking about oil changing. And if I'm not mistaken, and y'all correct me on the record, but as of today, and what the date is, 17th of March? August, yeah, I'm trying to, what, as of the 17th of August, I don't think that we have service now, Cobb there. And I'm asking the question, is anything wrong with doing that or what? I'm just asking.
Well, we actually, Lee and I, actually.
Don?
Yep, hi.
All right, just so everybody knows, Alderman Harris is attending this meeting remotely as of now. Alderman Harris, we called the meeting to order, and Alderman Miller is asking the police chief about the possibility of having the cars serviced at Public Works. So that's where we are right now.
So we have like 4 or 5 different vehicles that take different oil, that take different air filters, that take different things that need to be placed on there when it gets the oil change. So we'd have to buy so many gallons of different kind of oil, which would not save us a whole lot of money in the long run. We pay $69 for an oil change right now. So buying that many different types of oil, it would not save us money. Also, I don't know how Lee feels, but when I take my car to Bryant's, if they mess it up, it's on Bryant's. If Lee messes it up, it's gonna be on Lee. So that added security of if something happens to the car, don't put the oil plug in, something like that, that's gonna be on Lee. Right now, it's on Bryant's.
Are you trying to say you're incompetent?
No, sir, I'm not trying to say he's not.
I'm just saying, you know, we buy.
And when things happen, it's gonna be on him.
So it's only 120-something thousand.
I always think that we can find reason for not doing anything. I be looking for, trying to find reason to do something.
That seems low.
That's just my opinion. We can always find, the devil's in the detail, I understand that.
Yes. And a lot of times when we take the cars up there, there's other things being done when they get the oil change.
I strictly talking about service, and I understand that part there. So is in your opinion, and Lee ain't saying nothing, but is your opinion that this just won't be financial prudent, won't be a cost saving? Because we buy oil in bulk anyway, and that oil don't have a shelf life. It have a shelf life on it, but it's down the road years. So, but anyway, though, so. Because Brian do the same thing. He got multiple barrels of oil down there to service all them vehicles, correct?
He does.
So, but in your opinion, is the chief law enforcement there that would not work?
In my opinion,
In your opinion.
I don't think it would help us a whole lot, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
But those are all my concerns. I'm through.
Tapped out?
Well, I ain't tapped out. I'm just gonna pass out.
Who else has some
I have a
concerns?
question for Marshall. We're budgeting 800,000 for ambulance revenue. We're at 579. Do you think you're gonna get to that number?
Well, we're actually looking into it right now. Our numbers that we're showing from our company
Thank you.
that does all of our collection, well over 100,000 than what our city shows. So we're trying to figure out where all that's at. And we're actually in the process of doing that right now. We got with Pam, got with Ed, Joanna, 2 billing companies, and we're trying to figure out where all this money's going and where it's not going.
Cassie, same thing. Y'all's police fines are 311. You budgeted 400,000. You think you'll get close to that?
And just on that note, the Judge Nowak was part of our budget meeting and helped set these numbers, but he couldn't come tonight, so.
Just, Alderman Wicker, would you let me put some numbers in the record just for?
Sure, go ahead.
And this all is just numbers on it. Going from 5% to 4%, and I'm gonna say it slow, so I don't have to say it no more. The savings in the general fund is $108,078. $108,078 in the general fund, which will put us way over $1 million. In the public works, going from 5 to 4 will be $13,400. 564, because I know the mayor made mention in his note that the contingency was going down, and then he was trying to build that back up. So that could be $13,564 put in contingency in public work. Thank you, Jude. And I'd like to make them numbers part of the record, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
Tag it out again.
I'm through now. I got the number, that's on where I came back.
So I'm assuming the 30,000 for election will be a special election? Is that what that we think that's gonna cost? What you gonna do, Doc?
We'll talk about that.
All right.
So if you take that out, that's another.
You got 62,000 for trucks and planning. That seems kind of low for 2 trucks. Do you know what kind of trucks you're gonna
He was
get?
gonna try to get those Mavericks or the small, the very smallest and least expensive ones. And he knows that's gonna be a tough haul, but he's gonna try to get it done. Those Mavericks are a good deal, they're just hard to get.
You got 300 for police cars. Is that, I guess that's what y'all recommending? How many cars is that gonna be?
Yeah, we don't know what the price is gonna be until the state contract comes out, October.
What are y'all looking to get now? Are y'all doing the
We gotta wait and see what comes on the state.
whatever comes out?
We're gonna try to get the Dodge Charger again. This will be the last year for it, unless we want to go electric.
You ain't gotta worry about the oil change.
Are you for real?
Don't worry about the oil change.
You changed the battery out though, boy.
Yeah. I have a question about the police cars too, can I? So the 295 from this current budget, was that all on cars too? And what, are we just replacing, and what are we doing with the ones that we're replacing?
We are not replacing any this year.
Okay, just additional
What we're
ones.
doing, and the reason it's only $295 is because I have equipment that I can place in the new cars this year that I don't have to purchase. So that's the reason why it didn't go up a lot. I don't have to buy radios because I took them out of cars we got rid of. So that saved us some money on that. The cars that we're gonna keep, we're keeping 2 cars for training because we have to go to defensive driving, and we usually have to borrow somebody else's car, and they don't like us to tear their cars up. So we have an opportunity now to have our own cars for defensive driving, that we're gonna utilize those 2 chargers for that instead of selling them.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay, thanks.
Alderman Wicker, you were still,
Yeah, the 300,000 for the ambulance. So I guess the plan is to get an ambulance sometime this year, and then hire the people next year to staff it. I guess is that the plan?
Marshall, you want to address that?
Yeah, so if we can buy this ambulance, and this will be the ambulance that goes into this station.
City Hall, right?
It's probably gonna take, I'm gonna say 12 to 18 months to even get it, once we've actually bid it out, and then we can build, it's taking a lot longer to get them built. So we figure if we can get the ambulance now, by the time we get it, we'll know the time frame. So sometime next year, we'll have to hire 6, but it may not have to be in October, it may be in March, whatever the ambulance comes in. We just need to get them early enough where we can train them to start doing the job.
We did emergency purchase to purchase another ambulance. It's
Yeah,
in the
we're actually
process.
getting that ambulance, just arriving this next week.
Do we need to do that? Do we need to do that with this ambulance?
No, that's a strictly backup ambulance. We have no backup ambulance.
Well, we budgeted this year for that one, that you said would be like 12 to 18 months to get it, right? Okay, that's what I thought.
That's the one we should be getting.
That's coming in any day.
And we're going to make sure it's gets paid for out of the current budget we're in, as well as the building you're seeing going on in this fire department to get ready for the new ambulance.
To house it.
Those will be finished
Okay.
and paid for before September 31st.
I thought we had already, that was in
It's in the current.
22, 23,
That's
yeah.
right.
I thought it was.
45,000 increase for, it's an extra street lights. What is that? Is that because of more neighborhood?
All the new
builds?
neighborhoods, we've, that have been Arbor Point and Winningham, and Jefferson, there are new streetlights that have been added, and that's just what the charges are coming in at. Looks like it's trending towards that number. And on those, just so everybody remembers, because it's hard for me to remember everything, they're kind of a lease. They go up at no front-end charge, but you're paying for the pole rent, you're paying for the arm rent, and then a little energy modifier number they have in there. So each pole and light costs you a certain amount per month.
This budget showing no borrowed money in the general.
No borrowed money.
The animal shelter, I guess, is it cleared out? Are we done with that?
We have paid every
806?
single thing we owe on the animal shelter and
That's
did
gonna
not
carry
borrow
over.
any money. So that's one reason we're probably a little shorter in cash this year in that fund, but now that we've gotten to the end of the year, it's paid for, and it looks like we can balance the budget. I don't see any reason to get a loan for it if we can just say we own it outright.
$185 for the park bond, that would cover the payment this year, is that right?
Yes, so we borrow $6,750,000, then there'll be fees on top of that. It'll come out to 6.9 or something. But they said if we got 4.25% for a 15-year, which is a good possibility, the first year's payment, they said would be 182. I put 185 in the budget.
And then the years after that, it'd be how much?
Depending on the rate, around 550 a year.
The road improvement, so you got 2.8 million in here. You said 800,000 is for the Renaissance Park deal, and that leaves 2 for the general streets.
Right.
And we talked about maybe bumping that up a 2.1, 2.2 maybe.
How much did I leave in the contingency of that one?
570 is what it shows here.
Yeah, so I mean, that's money that's left in there.
I'd like to get that as high as we can. I think we're starting showing some improvement there with the streets. I've got a lot of compliments on, we did Baden this year and some other streets, so I'd like to.
Baden was a big one. And we just did 2 more this week. We did Biloxi Cove and Banks Cove. And so the only
You trying to get me to vote for a budget is what you're trying to do, I see.
the only one left in this budget year, well, there's 2. One was Fairway Oaks, but we're not gonna do it because the water lines have to be replaced first. And Northern Street, which Joe Frank's waiting on a second quote, and it'll get done before the end of this budget year.
Was Pendulum done?
Oh,
I
Joe
thought
didn't do Pendulum?
Pendulum was supposed to be in this budget year.
It was,
And believe me,
yeah.
I've heard from people
We'll
over there
make sure
a
it
lot.
gets to the top.
That's really all my questions, but I do agree with Andrew. I think with the PERS increase, I'd be happy with a 4% and put that money in contingency. That'd be my position as well, so. You're it, Bruce, tag, you're it.
No, as long as we can move that to contingency, I'm fine. And then if we don't have a special election, that 30,000, want it to go to contingency as well.
Okay.
Ready to adjourn?
Oh, you got 2 more, man?
Y'all have gone through, I mean, you've hit most of my questions
I mean,
through.
I wanted to see the numbers on 3, 4, and 5. I mean, I'm fine with 4%. I mean, I just don't want to get too top-heavy and then not be able to sustain. Because we did, in the last couple of years, we have had to move some of these low hourly positions up, like in parks and public works and a lot of these hourly positions in animal control, everything. We've had to move some of these lower hourly positions up just because they weren't competitive. And we've had to keep moving these salaries, and I want to be able to do that. And I just feel like, I think 4% is a safe number. It's not a huge difference, but I'm good with it going in contingency because you just never know what's going to happen, hence what happened in June. And that cost us, the city, money. Thank goodness we had it to spend on it, so I'm good with that.
Mark, can I just make one thing for the record? It was not Public Works, it was not the Parks Department, it was the fire department. They got an assessor raise twice during this last budget year. For the record, I ain't gonna call the numbers out because I'm through with that now.
No, I'm talking about as a whole. We had
Yeah, but that's where the money went.
Well,
It wasn't none of them them,
You have to
they
be
still, they
competitive.
still on the, they just, right now, they only at $15.
You have to be competitive too. You have to be competitive in our surrounding cities. So that's the reason why we've invested in these salaries.
Ain't nobody in Public Works and the Fire Department got a bump up like that, outside of what we gave them. I can ask Julie from HR from back there.
They had recruiting issues too.
Still got them issues, but they did not get no bump in them salaries, like other departments did.
We had some of these parks positions and some of these other positions paying $8 an hour, and then they went to 10, and then they went to 13. I mean, I look at them and I still think some of them are low to be able to get good quality help, but that's my opinion.
I agree they low. I'm not arguing about that point. I just want to, I'm talking about where the money actually went.
Well, you have to invest in certain areas in order to recruit legitimate candidates for fire and police too.
I'm jumping down there in that 6 foot of water and 20 degrees out there.
Public Works too. I mean, we've had to increase some,
You know what I'm saying? They down there, man.
the CDL drivers, we've lost brush truck
Jared,
drivers.
Jared, have we got any about the ground supervisor? Have you heard any applicant yet? You got some candidates finally? Okay. That salary need to be adjusted anymore?
We set a range to 45 to 50, so based on experience.
But you budgeted 50. Yeah. I mean, are y'all confident with y'all's numbers as far as how your folks are paid and able to hire people for your positions that you need to hire for? That's the biggest thing. That's my largest question is, we can nitpick pennies all day long, but we've got to be, what's going to make it work for y'all too? Y'all are the ones who are handling personnel and staff issues every day. I mean, all of y'all have individual needs, and, that's why I'm asking that.
I was just looking at, Alderman Miller talked about parks, and that was the first sheet that I opened up, but they're
1575 on the proposed 5%.
at a 5%, yeah, they'd be at 1575, which is still hard to get people to work for that money. When you can go for more money and be an air conditioner at Amazon.
Well, Mr. Mayor, I say it like this, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Those department head can just do like some other department head that come in the middle of the year with some outrageous number, and the board said yes. It's on the department heads. Just like Alderman Ross just asked the question then. They need to come, if it's in the, even during, any time during the budget year, if they feel like it's justification there, they need to come and present it. Only thing I can say.
Alderwoman Lynch, did you have some concerns that haven't been addressed?
Not really. There's one utility amount that went up, the 400-650-630 went up 75,000. I was wondering why.
I'm getting to that.
It's at the, close to the end.
650
630.
Oh, those, all right, so that's utilities and sewer, right?
Yeah.
So as the lift stations get old and worn out, they run more to pump the sewer.
Okay.
And the more they run, the higher that utility bill is. But there was a line item in here where we were adding a little extra budget money to work on some of those. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping that as we get them repaired, that utility bill will go down. Oh, is this in water?
Is water or the pump, the lift stations?
This is water, 650 is water.
Oh,
So, yeah, those have been running a lot more too, especially with all the hits we've had from the,
Just kind of for perspective, East Parkway is producing about 800,000 more gallons a day.
What about my situation over on Rhett Butler? Rerouting those lines or lifting them or taking some of the pressure off the lift station on Edgewood Boulevard? Is all that, like, in the numbers? It's going to be paid for this year in this budget? Because I know it's, y'all are having to
It went
reroute.
1750.
Yeah, the three houses on
That's
that
what we're
road,
talking about the other night.
So,
Okay,
That's gonna take care
I got prices on Monday.
okay.
I'm getting prices on
Yeah.
in the contract.
yeah.
So we're able to handle that and,
Said something about raising the
23.
accrual rates or something. What, could you explain what that
okay,
is?
all right.
I'm sorry, I thought she was done.
Okay, I just got a question about the accrual rates. So we've obviously been getting a lot of rainwater in our sewer system because DeCrua, they basically level bill us. Like if you were to get on level billing with Entergy, DeCrua level bills us. So they look at what we've done this year, what all the cities have done, they come up with their budget, then they say, here's how much flow each city's gonna have. Well, we've had so much extra rainwater get in our system, we're going up to $2,400,000 they're gonna charge us this year. And our true up for the current year may be up to $630,000. So we may have gone from 1.8 million in the current budget year to 3 million in this next year in DeCrua fees.
We're gonna raise our rates a little bit to change, gonna have to, right?
Unless we can find the I and get it under control. Because there's, that infiltration that's getting in there is just out of control. And so the things we're doing for that, we're talking right now with Vince Malavasi, and he's looking into the prospect of getting us a grant for some, they call it 192 money, and using that money to do so of course, I'll back up for a minute. One of our ARPA projects is to study the sewer in Old Hernando with Pickering.
That's the smoking we're gonna, right?
Yeah, that's smoke and see where we're getting problems there. So we're gonna figure out how big that area is, and then we try to get 192 money in the coming year to do the entire rest of the city, to figure out where all our problems are with getting rain. Because we know, when it rains, our pumps start running, so we know we're getting rainwater in the sewer. That goes to DeCrua, and they have to charge us for it.
So, I mean, I know this is a lot bigger jump than last year. What does it normally tend to be when it trues up?
Actually, in this past year, we got back $60,000. And it's based on all the other cities too.
Okay.
We all are in one big pool there, and based on our flow, we pay those certain amounts.
It just seems like a more, just a highly significant amount to
Oh, it's huge.
increase.
It is scary.
Just from rain. Wouldn't that have kind of been doing that in the past few years?
We have had some many significant rain events in this year. It's just been a lot different than usual.
So you're not saying like the general rainfall, but just like actual like intense?
The big floods we've had,
Storms.
yeah, the 100-year storms.
Which, that's what's causing issues with the lift station on my street, in my area.
When it's just a whole lot
It's a
at one
flash flood,
time?
right. It's backing up into people's houses.
And we really need to start at most of the city flows this way. So we need to kind of start at the top and start finding our problems. Because once it gets in up there, it's going through all the, not through all the lift stations, but through a couple of them.
Well, now that we have those alarms or sensors or something on them, it's been helpful, and you're saying that you think it's somewhere around Nesbit because it starts cutting off there and sending signals all the way down to my street when there's flash flooding. So there's some low-lying sewage lines and some different things that,
Big crossings,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
yeah, I mean, they've been working hard on it, I know. It's just kind of like a needle in a haystack kind of thing, trying to find out exactly where it's coming in, and in multiple locations possibly.
And there's not just a person we can just dedicate to us because everybody's so thinly
Right.
stretched as it is.
Right.
I mean, there's not hardly a night that someone doesn't get called in Public Works. Somebody's having to come in on overtime every day, just about.
Which, thank you very much. Y'all's department is, y'all have been rock stars for sure.
My hope would be, so to go back to your question, Alderman Wicker, we know we're gonna have to raise the garbage rates because of what's happened with the garbage going up. And that was part of this plan And we ended up with only 200,000 in contingency in the utility fund. But I would hate to raise the crew rates too, and then us figure out that we got it back under control. My hope is we can get it under control and not have to raise the crew rates too. I don't want to raise 2 rates on the citizens. And it's taking a chance, but I just don't want the citizens to have to take any more. I just don't want that fund to go in the black or in the red, which we can't do. But we're keeping it 200,000 to the good with this plan. And I'd like to see if we can make this plan work.
You got 2 million budgeted in there now. You think that's a safe number to, I guess, shoot at?
For DeCrua?
Yeah, the crew fee,
For the revenue?
yeah, 294.
So that's what we know we'll get in at the current rate. So that's the amount of money that, you know, with the standard billing we're doing now with DeCrua, that's what it would bring in. But
As new
on the
customers
other
come on.
hand, we're going to be paying out $3 million. So that's $1 million upside down, which is a big problem. But we're going to work as hard as we can to get it under control, and we'll be eating up some of our surplus this year while we're trying to do that. But
The garbage fees are raising to $22.
right in this
From
proposed
what?
budget.
From
$1,750. And we've been through 5 or 6 rate increases from the provider that haven't been passed on to the citizens. And I know y'all worked really hard to keep those low, but I just think we're at the point, I mean, obviously, looking at the budget, we can't, you know. And there were things we needed in this budget. We needed 2 new brush trucks and a few other employees, but we cut them out for this year, so.
Didn't we talk about looking at an outsource versus the equipment? I know that you had like a motor for one of the brush trucks on national back order that was being covered by insurance, so we're not having to pay that. But you were looking at maybe outsourcing prices versus buying more equipment?
Not even the same ballpark.
It's not?
If you lose that level of control and quality control also, when you sub it out, I'm just terrified of what it would turn into.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand. I just knew that we had talked about it. Yeah, just trying to look at every angle versus buying another truck.
And they expected us to sign a multi-year contract with, for brush pickup in order for them to have that capital expense covered, you know, common insurance.
And what we know happens now, since we're not in the garbage business, if I have a missed garbage call, it's hard for me to get them to come back and do it. But if we have a missed brush call, these guys will run over and do it right now. And that's a very valuable service to the citizens, that we can stay on top of those things.
We learned the other night, we make it start getting $50 or something after a period of time or something.
Right, yeah, there's a $100 fee for,
What are you laughing at? I know that guy called you.
yeah.
Andrew's scared the guy. He
I'm
called.
hoping we don't have to charge it. I'm hoping they'll just start picking up everybody's garbage. But we are going to have a system in place, so if someone's garbage is not picked up, we'll report it immediately, and then we will check back 24 hours later and see if it's been picked up, so. Alderman Harris, did you have some concerns or anything you wanted to voice?
Everything that was on my list has been addressed, Mayor. I do agree that we should be looking at a 4% instead of a 5% increase. In light of some of the, like the crew, we weren't expecting that, and we're faced with it, so we got to some way try to offset some of this. And unfortunately, that's how I think we need to give consideration to step and absorb some of that. So I think I've heard others say they prefer 4%, and I agree with that.
Thank you, Doc. Any other concerns or?
So when we do decide to raise these rates, will we let the customers know before, they just see it on their bill? Or?
We will absolutely get the word out. Absolutely. And actually, I was interviewed about the garbage stuff, and I told them what was in the proposed budget, but it wasn't. And so I think that is in
Just
the
tell them
Daily.
it's Bruce's idea
I think
to
it's
do
in
it.
the Daily Memphian right now, so it came out today.
Well, it's been 6 or 7 years since the last,
I
is that
think it was
correct?
February of 17.
Okay. So it's been a good
It's
while.
been 6 years. Yeah,
Okay.
over 6 years.
Well, as many times as they've had broken down trucks and all that kind of stuff, I'm sure they're increasing the rates just to buying
And I'm
new
hoping
equipment.
that because they're, and I'm just hoping, but I'm hoping since they're gonna have the county contract, that means there's more trucks around us too to fill in if they have a problem. So I think they start
We
that
can hope
October
so.
1. I will say, I've heard all y'all say 4%, and I work with all these people every day, as y'all know, and they're all worth 10%. I really wish we could get them to 5 because we went, what I consider backwards last year by not meeting the consumer price index. We gave it 5% last year, but the consumer price index was 8.5 or so. So I feel like everybody went backwards a little bit, and I'm just trying to do two things with this, is reward the employees and retain them. Not to say anybody's just gonna jump up and leave over 1%, but, you know, that mounts up over time. So the 5% is still my recommendation.
$121,000 somewhere, we can make it 5%. Cut the 121 out somewhere.
And since I started this.
Tag, you're it.
Yeah, tag out. Since we'll know in October, hopefully, no, we won't know until October, we won't know until January about the 1.6, 1.7% in this budget year. When
We
we know?
probably won't know till near the end of the legislative session.
Okay, so that's the middle of the year.
Yeah.
It's PERS, they're gonna make a recommendation on the 20, is that what she said, the 27th or something, they're having a meeting, August 27th?
The recommendation can go out.
Huh?
That's what I'm saying, that-
Yeah,
so-
they have a committee meeting on the 20th, I think that's what Ms. Veazey said
Okay.
at the MML deal.
That's what I'm saying, so we'll have some sense of direction, might not be through the legislature, but we'll have some sense of direction. And I speak as one that if they decide not to push that forward this year,
That would free up about that 1%.
yeah, and so, man, you could come back in 3 months, man, and get your other percent. But I think as being stewards now, we're putting that other $108,000 plus in contingency. We understand that because you got to do the data operation. We got to be the ones that wear the black hat. I know you know, long run you had Tato, but I guess we ain't Tato this year with you, but anyway. So I'm speaking just as Miller, that I wouldn't have a problem if the committee said that 1.6 or 7, whatever it is, that it don't go forward, that I wouldn't have any problem you coming back in 90 days into the budget year and get your other percent.
Thank you.
That's about, but I think for the sake of business now, I think that we need to stay in there. I know we're gonna be all over, we ain't gonna get no, we ain't gonna get no thank you cards.
What's that?
We ain't gonna get no thank you cards from the employee, but that's okay too, though. I mean, you got to make the hard choices. That's what we elected for, to make the hard choices.
Lee, do you want to say something?
Yeah. So, as the mayor said, we're only have a contingency of $200,000 this year, roughly, in Public Works. I can't operate on that. I can't. If one lift station goes down, it's gonna obliterate that completely. If something happens catastrophically to a water plant, hopefully it doesn't. I mean, talking $800,000, $900,000, $1 million. It scares me operating on $200,000 contingency for a $10 million budget. Absolutely terrifies me.
Do you think it don't scare me that we don't have $1 million in contingency?
Oh, sure.
Do you think we don't have some fear, don't think, I'll speak for Miller again, that we don't have some sleepless night worrying about something gonna happen?
Sure.
So all of us have fears. I mean, so.
Lee, what do you suggest we do?
I don't know.
So I thought you were gonna come up here.
The DECRUA this year has absolutely killed my.
I mean, are you suggesting raising the rates higher than what we're doing?
I don't want to do that, because
People
like the
will
mayor
lose
said,
their
if it
minds.
ends up being, a sorting it out, or a misfigure on their end, or something comes out in the wash on the end, I would feel terrible about that, because we burden the taxpayers with that. So I don't have a solution. I hate to bring you a problem without a solution, because it aggravates me when people do that to me.
I thought you were finna come with I thought you were finna come up with
They're gonna write a check.
Well, what if we come, we know this is an issue. Everybody here agrees and knows it's scary and an issue in the proprietary fund. Why don't we come back and look at it?
Why don't you, okay, you got some things in the works, you in public works that you think you're gonna look at. How soon, and we can approve this budget, but there's nowhere that you can't go back and adjust the budget and
Can
adjust
amend it,
rates.
Oh, yeah, we can amend them every budget meeting, every
But
meeting.
that's what I'm saying, so I'm just fine with staying where we are and let y'all work the issue and.
When will we have a concrete answer about the accrue? I mean, that's gonna be into the budget year?
Yeah, it'll be next year.
Well, I'm just saying, you know, if we have to revisit this again, let's revisit it, but, I mean, let's exhaust every other means right now.
If something happens like Lee is describing, we'd have to borrow money, I guess, to.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah, do a bond
Yeah.
issue or a quick bank loan.
and that's what we have to do. But it'd be justified, though.
What do we have dropping off as far as debt obligation?
We are just next month dropping we're gonna pay the last payment in this budget year of 320-something thousand on a bond, and that'll be the last year we pay on that one. So that'll be, but that's not in the utility fund, that's in the bond fund. So the bond fund will free up 320 off of that one. Got my sheet in here somewhere.
Because, I mean, we can only borrow a certain percentage.
We would never get near borrowing what we could legally borrow because we don't want to do that.
No.
All right, there's my sheet. So, we're dropping off 327,000 a year in this new budget that's presented. In '27, we'll drop off another $325,000 a year. And in 2 years, we're going to drop off about $20,000 a year note in parks. In '25, we drop off about $90,000 worth of police cars debt. And we're not taking on debt for police cars anymore. That's something that happened when there was a slow time, I guess. And we got a cap loan, sewer cap loan dropping off. One of the cap loans we're gonna pay when we sell that land.
Yes, sir.
That one will drop off, and then there's another will drop off in '25 of $12,000 a year. So we got some things coming off.
Yeah.
Are you looking, be able to look at them?
Yeah, now. Because if we, doing that bond issue for the parks, that's what I was kind of looking at. And if we get into that situation,
Yeah, we'll still have plenty of capacity for sure.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we got, and that's just like, what's monthly? Yeah. That one's a long one.
All right. Y'all got any other questions or concerns or?
Do y'all have questions for us?
Can you look at the
Y'all are
looks?
quiet back there.
We need to adjourn, I guess, and what's the next step for our budget calendar or whatever?
Our next budget calendar is to adopt it on September 5th.
Okay.
So we wouldn't recess, we just adjourn.
All right, motion to adjourn then. Second.
So motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, no.
So there's a consensus then that you're gonna bring us back numbers with folks.
That's what I heard from y'all.
I didn't say you were in agreement, so
Yep.
it's on the record that you're not in agreement, so that's well noted.
And then and I think what I heard was if we find out we're not gonna do the 18.5%, we might go back and add that to
Yeah.
payroll.
Yeah.